1990. Dogs judged by Mrs. Joy Malcolm, bitches by Mr. Sid Riley. Bitches were started before dogs had finished, so I missed veteran bitch and minor puppy bitch. We start off with Class 1 minor puppy dog, 19 entered, 2 absent. Casella Crackerjack, Dysalon Sweeney Todd, Shinra Bushido Blade, Jim Wren Royal Replica, Beachcomber of Casella, Tonatron Comanchero, Fletcher at Sunhawk Norwatch, Gerrioff Pig and Mix, Blixen the Mutineer, Cherryside Lucky Strike, Harrowbed Know What I Mean It's Fraud, Abbythorn Moriarty, Bywell True Shot, Tertia Major Tom, and Glenfall Rainbow End. First one to be seen in Class 1 minor puppy dog is 203, Casella Crackerjack, owned by Gillian Fenner and bred by her also, signed by Casella Centurion out of Casella Princess Leah, born 30th of the 10th, 89, Casella Crackerjack. Casella Crackerjack. 37. Dysalon Sweeney Todd, owned by SP and W. Chilcott, bred by W. Mitchell, signed by Fairdawn front page story at Dysalon, out of Dysalon Moonchild, born 30th of the 10th, 89. Dysalon Sweeney Todd. 251. Shinra Bushido Blade, owned and bred by Mr. C.S. and Mr. G.E. Thrower, signed by Mitchum of Sunhawk Norwatch, out of Russellamo Dolly Dimples, born 23rd of the 1st, 90. Shinra Bushido Blade. Shinra Bushido Blade. The 99. Jim Wren Royal Replica, owned by Jim and Brenda Grubbs, bred by them also, signed by Jim Wren Royal Scott, out of Coming On Strong at Jim Wren, born 24th of the 11th, 89. Jim Wren Royal Replica. Beachcomber of Casella, owned by Jane Milton, bred by Mr. and Mrs. F. Bevan, signed by Casella Centurion, out of Donymore Summer Romance, born 20th of the 11th, 89. Beachcomber of Casella. Beachcomber of Casella. .255 Tonatron Comanchero, owned and bred by Mrs. Sagra Tonkin, Side by Tonitron True Glory out of Tonitron Prize Doll. Born 6th of the 1st, 90. Tonitron Comanchero. Tonitron Comanchero. Number 3, Fletcher at Sunhawk Norwich. Owned by Mr. and Mrs. Eddie and Helen Banks. Bred by Mrs. Sue Ballinger. Side by Champion Mitchum of Sunhawk Norwich out of Glenfall Hit the Heights at Tintonville. Born 10th of the 11th, 89. Fletcher at Sunhawk Norwich.
Well, I've got some of you to make some.
Fletcher at Sunhawk Norwich. 86, Gerryoff Pick and Mix. Owned and bred by Mrs. M. Gerry and R.H. Taylor. Side by Gerryoff Boxer Tricks out of Simcoe First Noel. Sorry, I'll read that again. Side by Gerryoff Boxer Tricks or Simcoe First Noel and out of Aurorian Lucky Trip. Born 4th of the 1st, 90. Gerryoff Pick and Mix. Gerryoff Pick and Mix. 253. Blixen the Mutineer. Owned and bred by Mrs. A. Tilley. Side by Blue Cap Up and Away to Harmore out of Hidden Talents. Born 26th of the 12th, 90. Blixen the Mutineer. Blixen the Mutineer. .282 Cherryside Lucky Strike. Owned and bred by Mr. David Webb. Side by Bonnet v. Vilganger of Marbleton.
Yes, so
out of Cherryside Rum Maple. Born 20th of the 1st, 90. Cherryside Lucky Strike. Cherryside Lucky Strike. .67 Harrowbed Know What I Mean is Fraud. Owned by Mrs. S. Dawson and Mrs. K. Hanson, bred by Mrs. D. Harrison. Side by Fraud Round the Houses out of Fraud Soaked Sorrel of Harrowbed. Born 30th of the 11th, 89. Harrowbed Know What I Mean, it's Fraud. Harrowbed Know What I Mean, it's Fraud. .26 Susan Carr Rory Crute. Owned and bred by Mrs. S&S Carter, side by Dolph the Bew Farm of Marbleton, out of Suzanne Carr, Jocelyn for position. Born 30th of the 10th, 89. Suzanne Carr Raw Recruit.
I'm sorry,
Suzanne Carr, Raw Recruit.
Yes, you're looking well.
264, Abby Thorne Moriarty, owned and bred by Mrs. Rita Tucker, signed by Will Rate Ticker Tape, out of Surfstone Lovers Tiff at Abby Thorne, born 27th of the 12th, 89.
Steady. Oh my God.
Abby Thorne Moriarty.
They said, I heard on the news, they said the roads are slippery down there because of Yes. Well, it's been the same in Lincolnshire. I mean, everywhere's twin.
Abby Thorne Moriarty.
Big sons, are they both?
That was our excuse for staying there another day.
Oh, that nice girl. So did I.
115, Arizona Hoko, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. D and Al Harrison, signed by Quibus Van Rusticana of Wild Axe, out of Wild Axe Penny Blue, born 6th of the 1st, 89. Arizona Hoko. Arizona Hoko.
See you on tonight. If
54, Bywell True Shot, owned and bred by Mrs. F.D. Graham, signed by Trywell 12th of Never, out of Bywell Bang Away, born 1st of the 11th, 89.
Right, this way.
Bywell True Shot.
Right, come on.
Bywell True Shot. (221) Tertia Major Tom, owned and bred by Mr. P. Shillito, signed by Will Rate Ursa Major, out of Glenfall Andromeda at Tertia, born 29th of the 11th, 90. Tertia Major Tom. Tertia Major Tom.
That's it. That's what it's yeah, that's what it's both
because 90. Glenfall Rainbow End, owned by Mrs. Fiona Godwin, bred by Mrs. Pam Broughton, signed by Champion Glenfall the Gladiator, out of Glenfall Rainbow Quest, born the 31st of the 10th, 89.
She's too nice to be.
Glenfall Rainbow End.
Very sharp.
Glenfall Rainbow End. Casella Crackerjack, Dysalon Sweeney Todd, Chiran Bushido Blade, Jim Bren Royal Replica, Beachcomber of Casella, Tonatron Comanchero, Fletcher at Sunhawk Norwatch, Gerrioff Pick and Mix, Blixen the Mutineer, Cherryside Lucky Strike. Harrow Bed Know What I Mean It's Fraud. Susan Cart Raw Recruit. Abby Thorne Moriarty. Arizona Hoko. Tertia Major Tom. Abby Thorne Moriarty. Bywell True Shot. And Glenfall Rainbow End. First selection are Jim Bren Royal Replica, Dyslon Sweeney Todd, Casella Crackerjack, Tonitron Comanchero, Fletcher at Sunhawk Norwatch, Harrow Bed Know What I Mean It's Fraud, Cherryside Lucky Strike, Susan Carr Raw Recruit, and Abby Thorne Moriarty.
Well available. Thank you. I just wanted to know who was going.
Final six were Jim Bren Royal Replica, Casella Crackerjack, Tonitron Comanchero, Fletcher at Sunhawk Norwatch, Harrow Bed Know What I Mean It's Fraud, and Cherryside Lucky Strike. First, Jim Bren Royal Replica. Second, Cherryside Lucky Strike. Third, Fletcher at Sunhawk Norwatch. Reserve, Tonitron Comanchero. VHC Casella Crackerjack. And HC Harrow Bed I Know What I Mean It's Fraud. Tonitron Comanchero, Fletcher at Sunhawk Norwatch. And once again, first, Minor Puppy Dog was Jim Bren Royal Replica. Class 2 Puppy Dog, 14 entered, 3 absent. We've seen Sandine Solo Dancer, Landemir Louis, Patomar Paper Tiger, Alto Sirius at Righton Waves, Sue Mike Golden Lad of Stainmere, Marbleton Ozone Friendly, Marple Mad Max, Edelstein I'm Forceful 2, Snarestone Masterpiece, Brockendorf Burley of Bockenden, and Zeredith Red Adair. First one to be seen in Class 2 Puppy Dog is 298. Sandine Solo Dancer, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. D.B. Woods, side by Telmon's Dark Unique out of Sandine Sophisticated Lady, born 22nd of the 10th, 89. Sandine Solo Dancer. Sandine Solo Dancer. (172) Landemir Louis, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. T. Mills, side by champion Santon Oaks Robbie Redcoat, out of Just Jemima of Santon Oaks at What's Names, born 18th of the 9th, 89. Landemir Louis.
Steady. Hey, steady. Steady.
Landemir Louis.
Steady.
114. Patomar Paper Tiger, owned and bred by Mrs. P.D. Harding, side by Ultimate Closterine at Zen Max K, out of Patomar Pickled Lily, born 18th of the 10th, 89. Patomar Paper Tiger. Patomar Paper Tiger.
He's not talking.
95. Alto Sirius at Righton Ways, owned by Mrs. Lorna Greathead and Mrs. A. Lees, bred by Mrs. A. Lees, side by champion General Pop My Cork to walk on, out of Moonlight of Alto, born 18th of the 8th, 89. Alto Sirius at Righton Ways. Sue Mike Golden Lad of Stainmere, owned by Dr. Bruce Catanack, bred by Mrs. Hall, side by champion Garnett Gurlert of Stainmere, out of Sue Mike Eye Flasher, born 21st of the 10th, 89. Sue Mike Golden Lad of Stainmere.
Not what he said, didn't even say.
Sue Mike Golden Lad of Stainmere. Marbleton Ozone Friendly, owned and bred by Mrs. Mary Hamilton, side by Bonaire v. Vilganger of Marbleton, out of champion Marbleton Burnley Chassis, born 4th of the 11th, 89. Marbleton Ozone Friendly.
Well,
Marbleton Ozone Friendly. 167. Marpal Mad Max, owned and bred by Mrs. M. Norris, side by champion Garnett Gurlert of Stainmere, out of Marpal Miss Twinkletoes, born 22nd of the 9th, 89. Marpal Mad Max. Marpal Mad Max. Edelstein I'm Forceful 2, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. D. Lunn, side by champion Stainmere Forceful William, out of Starlet of Stainmere, born 11th the 10th, 89. Edelstein I'm Forceful 2.
steady.
Edelstein I'm Forceful 2. '62 Snarestone Masterpiece, owned and bred by Miss Liz Davis, side by Snarestone Eyecatcher, out of Desiree of Fife at Snarestone, born 10th of the 8th, 89. Snarestone Masterpiece. Snarestone Masterpiece. '134 Brockendorf Burley of Bockenden, owned by Mrs. Peggy Ingram, bred by Mrs. Garrison, signed by champion Garnett Gerlert of Steinmere out of Brockendorf Red Cracker, born 1st of the 10th, 89. Brockendorf Burley of Bockenden. Brockendorf Burley of Bockenden. (164) Zeredith Red Adair, owned and bred by Mrs. M. Meredith, signed by Bonaire v. Vilganger of Marbleton, out of Miss Colour Girl of Zeredith, born 20th of the 8th, 89. Zeredith Red Adair. Zeredith Red Adair. Sandine Solo Dancer, Landermere Louis, Patomar Paper Tiger, Alto Sirius at Right and Ways, Sue Mike Golden Lad of Steinmere, Marbleton Ozone Friendly, Marpal Mad Max, Edelstein I'm Forceful 2, Snarestone Masterpiece, Brockendorf Burley of Bockenden, and Zeredith Red Adair. First, Sue Mike Golden Lad of Steinmere, second, Marbleton Ozone Friendly, third, Alto Sirius at Right and Ways, reserved Brockendorf Burley of Bockenden, VHC Edelstein I'm Forceful 2, and HC Sandine Solo Dancer. Edelstein I'm Forceful 2, Brockendorf Burley of Bockenden, Alto Sirius at Right and Ways, Marbleton Ozone Friendly, and once again first Puppy Dog, Sue Mike Golden Lad of Steinmere. Class 3 Junior Dog, 18 entered, 2 absent. We've seen Sue Mike Beaufort Boy at Neacon, Sochal Magnum Force, Sunhawk Norwatch Cavalier at Lipley, Santon Oaks Ringo Red, Genroy Liquid Gold, Genroy Soda Pop at Darleg, Samariza Ajax the Warrior, Mantim Optimist at Trywell, Langdorf Red Sabre, Wilrate Xanthium, Brook Street Majestic, Holland Miami Banker, BK Bold and Brassy, Fairdawn Smooth Criminal of Advidicar, Bioframe Mr. Shirt, and Telmon's Spitting Image. First one to be seen in Class 3 Junior Dog is 156 Sue Mike Beaufort Boy at Neacon, owned by Mr. and Mrs. KL and EA Ledger, bred by Mrs. Sue Hall, signed by Samuel Costerpenny of Neacon, out of Sue Mike The Game's Up, born 4th of the 3rd, 89. Sue Mike Beaufort Boy at Neacon. Sue Mike Beaufort Boy at Neacon.
With
188 Sochal Magnum Force, owned by Mr. and Mrs. R.J. Oakes, bred by Mr. C.T. Gibson, signed by Beliga Rigoletto of Holwell, out of Sochal Fireflash, born 9th of the 4th, 89. Sochal Magnum Force. Sochal Magnum Force.
Does it always
129 2-2, Sunhawk Norwatch Cavalier at Lipley, owned by Mr. and Mrs. Tony and Sue Heatley, bred by Mr. and Mrs. Eddie and Helen Banks, side by Champion Bitter Shout and Roar out of Norwatch Sunhawk Monroe, born 22nd of the 4th, 89. Sunhawk Norwatch Cavalier at Lipley. Sunhawk Norwatch Cavalier at Lipley. Santon Oaks Ringo Red, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. Vince and Annabelle Zammit, signed by Champion Santon Oaks Robbie Redcoat, out of Santon Oaks Dolly Dots. Born 8th of the 4th, 89. Santon Oaks Ringo Red. Santon Oaks Ringo Red. Genroy Liquid Gold, owned by Mrs. M. Laidlaw, bred by Jenny Townsend, signed by Champion Tygarth Glenmorangie of Genroy, out of Genroy Knight in White Satin, born 3rd of the 5th, 89. Genroy Liquid Gold. Genroy Liquid Gold. Genroy Soda Pop at Darleg, owned by Mr. and Mrs. G. Regan, bred by Mrs. Jenny Townsend, signed by Champion Genroy Pop My Cork to Walk On, out of Champion Genroy A Lot Less Bother, born 18th of the 4th, 90. Genroy Soda Pop at Darleg. Genroy Soda Pop at Darleg. Samariza Ajax the Warrior, owned and bred by Mr. Steve Thorne and Miss Sam Marsh, signed by Bonaire v. Vilganger of Marbleton, out of Samariza Daredevil Duchess, born 29th of the 3rd, 89. Samariza Ajax the Warrior. Samariza Ajax the Warrior. Mantim Optimist at Trywell, owned by Mrs. Angela Kennett, bred by Mrs. S. Hawkins, signed by Champion Beliga Rigoletto of Holwell, out of Trywell Time to Dream, born 21st of the 7th, 89. Mantim Optimist at Trywell. Mantim Optimist at Trywell. Langdorf Red Sabre, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. R. Lane, signed by champion Santon Oaks Robbie Redcoat out of Langdorf Pop Mobility, born 19th of the 3rd, 89. Langdorf Red Sabre. Langdorf Red Sabre.
Motorbike next to a sack gaffer.
104, Willrate Xanthium, owned by Mrs. Dorian Scholes Hall and Miss D. Stones, bred by Mrs. Rita Williams, signed by Bonaire v. Vilganger of Marvelton, out of champion Willrate Tishkanesk, born 8th of the 2nd, 89. Willrate Xanthium. Willrate Xanthium. Brook Street Majestic, owned by Mr. P. Peart, bred by Leslie Whitfield, signed by Farfield Maestro Sandine out of Marbleton Christmas Cracker, born 21st of the 3rd, 87.
Do you know, Jean, I can't work as far as
Brook Street Majestic.
to catch the ferry first, and that's what's in my mind.
Brook Street Majestic.
No. I hope you don't
72, Holland Miami Banker, owned and bred by Mrs. Jackie Drew, signed by champion Tygarth Ben Mirangi of Genroy, out of Yelsome Diamond Dollar at Holland, born 6th of the 2nd, 89. Holland Miami Banker.
So what it was, I don't know, but something. Dogs.
Holland Miami Banker.
Yeah, Doris. What is it? Oh yeah, I sent it through.
What have you done with it?
She posts all of them.
If you tell her off, it's annoying.
Oh, it hasn't come when I went. Oh, well, no, they've gone on. They've gone on.
182, BK Bold and Brassy, owned and bred by Mrs. Val Moss, signed by Shaffordian Bold Acclaim out of BK Mutley's Girl, born 10th of the 5th, 89. BK Bold and Brassy. BK Bold and Brassy.
I'm
314, Fair Dawn Smooth Criminal of Ad Vidicar, owned by Mrs. Carroll and Mr. Dave Williams, bred by Miss Sue Harvey and Mr. Rodney Hughes, signed by champion Rayford Cock Robin, out of Let's Get Together at Fair Dawn, born 1st of the 4th, 89. Fair Dawn Smooth Criminal of Ad Vidicar. Fair Dawn Smooth Criminal of Ad Vidicar.
Don't forget these,
280, Maya Frey, Mr. Shirt. Owned and bred by Mrs. Leslie Waring, side by Winnie Wuck Backtrack, out of Freya at Kitui with Maya Frey. Born 23rd of the 7th, 89. Maya Frey, Mr. Shirt. Maya Frey, Mr. Shirt. $190, Telmon's Spitting Image. Owned and bred by Mrs. J. O'Connor, side by Telmon's Dark Unique out of Telmon's Soft Mist. Born 9th of the 4th, 89. Telmon's Spitting Image.
She's making a try, but it's for tomorrow.
Telmon's Spitting Image. We've seen Sue White Beaufort Boy at Neakin, Zoshell Magnum Force, Sunhawk Norwich Cavalier at Lipley, Santon Oaks Ringo Red, Genroy Liquid Gold, Genroy Soda Pop at Darleg, Samarisa Ajax the Warrior, Mantim Optimist at Trywell, Langdorf Red Sabre, Will Rate Xanthium, Brook Street Majestic, Holland Miami Banker, BKE Bold and Brassy, Fairdawn Smooth Criminal of Advidicar, Maya Frey Mr. Shirt, and Telmon's Spitting Image. Final selection are Sunhawk Norwich Cavalier at Lipley, Santon Oaks Ringo Red, Sue Mike Beaufort Boy at Neakin, Mantim Optimist at Trywell, Genroy Sub Pop at Darleg, Will Rate Xanthium, Holland Miami Banker, Telmon's Spitting Image, and Maya Frey Mr. Shirt. First, Mantim Optimist at Trywell, second, Sunhawk Norwich Cavalier at Lipley, third, Holland Miami Banker, reserve Santon Oaks Ringo Red, BHC Telmon's Spitting Image, and HC Will Rate Xanthium. Telmon's Spitting Image, Santon Oaks Ringo Red, Holland Miami Banker, Sunhawk Norwich Cavalier at Lipley, and once again first junior dog was Mantim Optimist at Trywell. Class 4 novice dog. 24 entered, 1 transferred to open and 3 absent. Because of size of the class, I'm not attempting to name the dogs as we look round at them.
One of them, the dog can turn out to be the best.
Yeah. Oh, you never can tell.
Not far off of that.
First one to be seen in novice dog class 4 was 144 Mantim Legacy at Trywell, owned by Mrs. Angela Kennett, bred by Mrs. S. Hawkins and handled by Philip Greenway. Side by Champion Billiger Rigoletta of Holwell out of Trywell, Time to Dream. Born 21st of the 7th, 89. Mantim Legacy at Trywell. Mantim Legacy at Trywell.
Nice. We'll write it down for you. Pass that room to the race course. You know where you cross the road from the car park? To roundabout.
262. Genroy Conks a Poppin' to Unique. Owned by Mrs. Valerie Tribe, bred by Jenny Townsend. Side by Champion Genroy Pomway Cork to walk on. Out of Champion Genroy A Lot Less Bother. Born 18th to the 4th, 89. Genroy Corks a Poppin' to Unique.
No.
I went up already, mate. I thought he waited and waited.
New one. Different one.
Get moving, boy. I went up already here.
Genroy Corks a Poppin' to Unique.
He's been in pain for those. He wants some more extra
58, Clanstead Revolution, owned and bred by Mr. Chris Cray, side by Clanstead Music Man out of Rustar, New Dawn, on 14th of the 7th, 89.
It's here, Christine.
Clanstead Revolution. Clanstead Revolution. Y Gold Jolly Jack Tar, owned and bred by Mrs. J. Bowen, side by Dolph, the View Farm of Marbleton, out of Marbleton, dolled up. Born 3rd of the 3rd, 89.
You said I have to watch my stroke, Ross.
Y Gold Jolly Jack Tar.
Find out then.
Y Gold Jolly Jack Tar. 249, Santon Oaks City Gent at Brewlis, owned by Mr. Dave Thorpe, bred by Mr. and Mrs. Vince Annabelle Zammit. Signed by Santon Oaks Burlington Birdie, out of Santon Oaks Annie's Song, born 21st of the 7th, 89. Santon Oaks City Gent at Brewlis. Santon Oaks City Gent at Brewlis.
Oh, don't look like that. You're right, old bloody woman. We're alright for me though, when I've got back.
91, Porth Atlantic Rider, owned by Mrs. Fiona Godwin, bred by Mrs. Chris Morris. Signed by Rustar, played to the crowd at Santana, out of Glenfall Duty Free at Porth, born 26th of the 7th, 89. Porth Atlantic Rider.
I know at the nursery you're taking their class.
Porth Atlantic Rider.
Nothing there in the west.
167, Walk On Strictly Sober, owned and bred by Mrs. Yvonne Miller, side by Champion General Pop My Cork to Walk On, out of Champion Slightly Sloshed of Sunhawk at Walk On, born 25th of the 7th, 89. Walk On Strictly Sober. Walk On Strictly Sober. 107, Kaleith Punch Drunk, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. Bob and Lindsay Hall, side by Champion General Pop My Cork to Walk On, out of Chiffordian Comedy Fair at Bezives, born 29th of the 6th, 89. Kaleith Punch Drunk. Kaleith Punch Drunk. Winniwock Commotion, owned by Ivan Marion Ward Davis, Julie Brown and Tim Hutchins, bred by Ivan Marion Ward Davis and Julie Brown, side by Sunhawk Clatter, out of Glenfall Happy Go Lucky at Winniwock, born 5th of the 5th, 89. Winnerwork Commotion. Winnerwork Commotion.
Yeah, his name's on
178. Well, it's a bedtime story for Dysalon. Owned by Mr. and Mrs. R and W.A. Mitchell. Read by Mr. and Mrs. Rhodes. Signed by Fair Dawn front page story at Dysalon out of Dan's Defer of Wellits. Born 16th of the 6th, 89. Well, it's a bedtime story for Dysalon. Well, it's a bedtime story for Dysalon. (152) Whitgar Knight in Black Velvet, owned and bred by Mrs. J. Lathwell and Mr. G. F. Hobbs. Signed by Scaramouche at Belair out of Whitgar White Lace. On 14th of the 7th, 89. Whitgar Knight in Black Velvet. Whitgar Knight in Black Velvet. (233) D-Run Sunny Boy, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. H. Spencer, signed by Seafound Sun and Shadow out of True Finn's Lady of Seafound, born 11th of the 11th, 88. D-Run Sunny Boy. D-Run Sunny Boy.
I mentioned it the same, which was a copy. It does the same, and pick up topic and
doesn't 130. Bohan Diamond Digger at Saltaire. Owned by Mr. M.A. and Mrs. H. Hunt. Bred by Mr. Norman. Signed by Champion Rayfuss Cock Robin out of Fair Dawn Melting Pot. Born 3rd of the 6th, 88. Bohan Diamond Digger at Saltaire. Bohan Diamond Digger at Saltaire.
telling me to do was ahead of that.
124. Charmdee's Ace High, owned and bred by Mrs. M.C. Hunt, signed by Champion Garnett Gellert of Stainmere, out of Vic Allen's Miss McGregor of Charmdee's. Born 9th of the 4th, 88. Charmdee Ace High. Charmdee's Ace High. (226) Samson Rainbow Warrior, owned by G.D., N.C. and J. Sinister, bred by Mr. and Mrs. G. Futter, signed by Revlock Rainbow Quest of Rayfoss, out of Ebony Swift Warrior, born 2nd of the 11th, 88. Samson Rainbow Warrior. Samson Rainbow Warrior. 2-9. Santon Oaks Hot Shot, owned by Mr. and Mrs. A. Humphrey, bred by Mr. and Mrs. Vince and Annabelle Zammit. Signed by champion Santon Oaks Robbie Redcoat, out of Santon Oaks Dolly Dots. Born 8th of the 4th, 89. Santon Oaks Hot Shot. Last one to be seen in Novice Dog is 301, Making Tracks to Harmore, owned by Mrs. Maureen Wright, bred by A. Gregory. Side by champion Fair Dawn Pheasant Plucker, out of Ingleway Special Edition. Born 14th of the 4th, 89. Making Tracks to Harmore. There are two previously seen in this class, which are Brook Street Majestic and Genroy Liquid Gold are previously seen. And this one once again is Making Tracks to Harmore. Final selection are Winnewood Commotion, Walk On Strictly Sober, Clanstead Revolution, Mantim Legacy at Trywell, Making Tracks to Harmore and Santon Oaks Hot Shot. First, Winnewood Commotion. Second, Clanstead Revolution. Third, Walk On Strictly Sober. Reserve, Mantim Legacy at Trywell. VHC, Making Tracks to Harmore. And 8C, Santon Oaks Hot Shot. Making Tracks to Harmore. Mantim Legacy at Trywell. Walk On Strictly Sober. Clanstead Revolution. And once again, first Novice Dog was Winnewood Commotion. Class 5 undergraduate dog, 24 entered, 4 previously seen and 5 absent. We've seen Santon Oaks Dandy Jack at Brulage, Sharmdee's Indian Warrior at Snarestone, Amanzi Newsflash for Willrate, My Slim More Memories, Whitcar Knight in White Satin, Kashan Who's the Boss, Tiger Attitude Adjuster, Highwell Flyer over Trywell, Zosha Firebug, Langdorf Firecracker, Garnet Gaston of Leedberg, Prince Woollyback Jumper of Winnewood, Tyneside Sunlover, Barvik Maximilian and Weimar the Musketeer. And previously seen are Willrate's Anthem, Social Magnum Force, Sharmdee's Ace High and Samson Rainbow Warrior. First one to be seen in Class 5 undergraduate dog is 120 Santon Oaks Dandy Jack at Brulage, owned by Mr. TV and Mrs. K. Healy, bred by Mr. and Mrs. Vince and Annabelle Zammit. Side by champion Santon Oaks Robbie Redcoat, out of Santon Oaks and his Song, born 6th of the 11th, 88. Santon Oaks Dandy Jack at Brulage. 63. Sharmdee's Indian Warrior at Snarestone, owned by Miss Liz Davis, bred by Mrs. M. Hood. Side by champion Garnet Gillard of Stainmere, out of Sharmdee's Pocalthus, born 31st of the 5th, 89. Sharmdee's Indian Warrior at Snarestone. Sharmdee's Indian Warrior at Snarestone. '53. Amanzi Newsflash for Willrate, owned by Mrs. Joan Cox, bred by Mr. and Mrs. A. Smith. Side by Willrate Ticker Tape, out of Glenfall Glint of Gold at Amanzi, born 21st of the 11th, 88. Amanzi Newsflash for Willrate. Amanzi Newsflash for Willrate. '39. Minus Some More Memories, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. C. Chippendale, side by Milisum, My Memory, out of Blue Cap Huntsman's Cry for Mycelin, born 18th of the 5th, 89. Milisum, More Memories. Milisum, More Memories.
What's she heard?
151. Whitgar, Knight in White Satin, owned and bred by Mrs. J. Lathwell and Mr. G.F. Hobbs, signed by Champion Tygarth Famous Grouse, out of Whitgar, Chug-a-Lug, born 6th of the 11th, 87. Whitgar, Knight in White Satin. Whitgar, Knight in White Satin.
When it fell down,
$220. Kashan, Who's the Boss, owned and bred by Mrs. M. Sass, side by Telmon's Dark Unique, out of Kashan, Hanky Panky, born 1st of the 4th, 89. Kashan, Who's the Boss. Kashan, Who's the Boss. Tygarth Attitude Adjuster, owned and bred by Sheila Cartwright, side by Tygarth Fog Cutter, out of Tygarth Whiskey Galore, born 14th of the 8th, 88. Tygarth Attitude Adjuster. Tygarth Attitude Adjuster. 146. Buy Well, Flyer Over, Try Well, owned by Miss Dams Kennett and Cram, bred by Mrs. D. Cram, side by Trywell 12th of Never, out of Buy Well, A Bang Away, born 16th of the 10th, 88. Buy Well, Flyer Over, Try Well.
I've done to show. And then I've got neither of them as well. I want that because it's ready for it.
Buy Well, Flyer Over, Try Well. 87. So Shall the Firebug, owned and bred by Mrs. C.T. Gibson, signed by Urko V. Domandal at Malaire, out of So Shall a Fire Flash, born 22nd of the 5th, 87. So Shall the Firebug. So Shall the Firebug. 150. Langdorf Firecracker, owned by E.P. Lane and L. Robson, bred by Mr. and Mrs. Lane, sired by Champion Beligga Rigoletta of Holwell, out of Langdorf Pop Mobility, born 1st of the 4th, 88. Langdorf Firecracker.
The walking stick.
Langdorf Firecracker. 201. Garnett Gaston of Leedberg, owned by Mr. Peter Perrott, bred by Mrs. P. Walker, sired by Champion Leedberg Clinton, out of Garnett Garland, born the 17th of the 1st, 89. Garnett Gaston of Leedberg. Garnet Gaston of Leedberg.
I think it's like one of them powder puffs in our house.
247, Prince Woollyback Jumper of Winnewook. Owned and bred by Mr. Steve Thorne and Miss Sam Marsh. Signed by Winnewook Good Samaritan out of Princess Dahula Sunshine at Samariza on 5th of the 12th, 86. Prince Woollyback Jumper of Winnewook.
He said he'd just stay with you. He's going to stay with Kenny.
Prince Woollyback Jumper of Winnewook.
He's just got up
69, Tyneside Sun Lover. Owned by Mr. R.E. Denton, bred by Sid Riley. Signed by Champion Skelder Scorching out of Tyneside Liziard. Born 26th of the 2nd, 80. This poor dog is also in class 6, 7, 8 and 9. I don't often pass a comment. The date of birth of this dog is 26th of February 1980. 211, Barvik Maximilian. Owned by Mr. and Mrs. C. Ralph, bred by R. Bradshaw. Signed by Colleen Boozy Pickles, out of Winron Rough and Tumble, born 9th of the 11th, 88. Barvik Maximilian.
I went over where the moved to. The house cost us quite a bit. Across the road, so I went over.
79, Weimar the Musketeer. Owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. Mary and Mervyn Fone. Signed by Bonaire the Billgang of Marbleton, out of Weimar Best Bib and Tucker. Born 3rd of the 5th, 89. Weimar the Musketeer.
I mean, they drove up in the car. We just thought it was somebody new, and he just got out.
Weimar the Musketeer.
I just made sure that didn't Dave, take a
Santa Noakes Danny Jack at Brewlinch, Sharmdy's Indian Warrior at Snarestone, a Manzy News Flash for Willraid, Milisum More Memories, Whitgar Knight in White Satin, Kishan Who's the Boss, Tygarth Attitude Adjuster, Bywell Flyer over Trywell, So Shall the Firebug, Langdorf Firecracker, Gunnet Gaston of Leedberg and Prince Woollyback Jumper of Winnewook, Tyneside Sun Lover, Barvik Maximilian, Weimar the Musketeer, and previously seen Willraid Xanthium, Zoshel Magnum Force, Sharmdy's Ace High and Samson Rainbow Warrior. Final selection are Whitgar Knight in White Satin, Sharmdy's Indian Warrior at Snarestone, Kishan Who's the Boss, Tygarth Attitude Adjuster, Weimar the Musketeer, Garnet Gaston of Leedberg, a Manji Newsflash for Willraid, and Prince Woollyback Jumper of Winnewook. First, Tygarth Attitude Adjuster. Second, Weimar the Musketeer. Third, a Manji Newsflash for Willraid. Reserve Prince Woollyback Jumper of Winnewook. VHC Whitgar Knight in White Satin and HC Kishan Who's the Boss. Whitgar Knight in White Satin, Prince Woollyback Jumper of Winnewook, a Manji Newsflash for Willraid, Weimar the Musketeer, and once again first. The graduate dog was Tygarth Attitude Adjuster. Class 6 postgraduate dog, 18 entered. We've got Toy Boy at Marbleton, Hot Boys Red Hunter, Red Leader of Winnewook, Limeray Deal Again, That'll Do Me Rough Diamond, McTaggart of Trinarca at Abbeythorn, Winnewook Thank Heavens of Marancine, Hollin Foreign Currency at VK, Janikin Just in Time, Sirocco Hill Street Blues,
go from one, you know. And this is the first time I've seen it.
Glenfall the Vigilante at fourth. Trinarca's time has come. D-Run Vindicator, Glenfall Expatriate, and Susan Carr Rain the Shine, and previously seen as Tynesider Sun Lover. The first one we've seen a postgraduate dog is 111, Toy Boy at Marbleton, owned by Mrs. Mary Hamilton, bred by J. Roberts. Signed by Bonaire v. Vilgang of Marbleton, out of Roy Lark Charismatic, born 29th of the 3rd, 88. Toy Boy at Marbleton. Toy Boy at Marbleton.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I didn't, because it's
185, Art Boy's Red Hunter, owned and bred by Gert Nielsen and David Spencer. Signed by Tygarth Hiram Walker is unique, out of Hart Boy's Red Hunter, born the 19th of the 3rd, 86. Hart Boy's Red Hunter. Hart Boy's Red Hunter. 272, Red Leader of Winnewick, owned by Ivor and Marion Ward Davis, Julie Brown and Tim Hutchins, bred by Pope. Signed by Red Duster at Winnewick, out of Rustar Peep Show, born 30th of the 10th, 88. Red Leader of Winnewick. Red Leader of Winnewick. 94, Limeray Deal Again, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. M.J. Gray, signed by Rustar Play for Pleasure, out of Limeray Spirit in the Night, born 4th of the 6th, 88. Limeray Deal Again.
Yes, look to that.
Limeray Deal Again.
No, she doesn't. You're quite right. I hope you brought her a present back, even if you didn't bring us one.
Limeray Deal Again.
I should think so.
Number 10, That'll Do Me a Rough Diamond, owned by Mr. T.J. Bird, bred by Mr. and Mrs. Bunyan, signed by Champion Norwatch Sunhawk Raffles, out of Trywell Trimmed in Black, born 26th of the 2nd, 88. That'll Do Me a Rough Diamond. That'll Do Me a Rough Diamond.
That used to be the original, isn't it? Yeah, it's like that.
265, McTaggart of Trinarca at Abbeythorne, owned by Mrs. Rita Tucker, bred by G. White. Signed by Champion Investigator of Abbeythorne, out of Athol Ebony Abish, born 16th of the 11th, 88. McTaggart of Trinarca at Abbeythorne. McTaggart of Trinarca at Abbeythorne. 215, Winnewick Thank Heavens of Marencene, owned by Vanessa Rogers and Marion and Gordon Seeney, bred by Vanessa Rogers and Seeney, signed by Champion Tygarth Glenmorangie of Genroy, out of Good Heavens of Winnewick, born 25th of the 8th, 88. Winnewick Thank Heavens of Marencene. Winnewick Thank Heavens of Marencene. 183, Holland Foreign Currency at VK, owned by Mrs. Val Moss, bred by Mrs. Jackie Drew and shown by Mrs. Leslie Waring. Signed by champion Tygarth Glenmorangie of Genroy out of Yelsome and Diamond Dollar at Holland. On 6th of the 2nd, 89. Holland foreign currency at VK.
You have to go behind the shed to watch.
At my age, it's pretty safe.
Don't bring any glasses at all.
Holland foreign currency at VK.
The movement's no good at all. Well, you're off, I think, which is young there. Well, there's plenty over there, Frank.
208. Janikin just in time. Owned and bred by Mr. W. Potts, signed by champion General Pot My Court to Walk On out of Georgette of Janikin. Born 23rd of the 10th, 87.
I don't think any
Janikin just in time. Janikin just in time.
This young lady, she's very quick with the men, you know. The lady, she's a bit slow.
309 Sirocco Hill Street Blues, owned and bred by Mrs. B.K. Young, signed by champion Tygarth Blue Kiwi out of Royal Charmer of Sirocco. Born 31st of the 3rd, 86. Sirocco Hill Street Blues. Sirocco Hill Street Blues.
You did. They're going to make me terrible here. I don't come on here. You can believe me, you do that.
180 Glenfall the Vigilante at Porth, owned by Mrs. Chris Morris, bred by Mrs. Pam Broughton, signed by champion Glenfall the Gladiator out of Glenfall Piper's Double. Born 25th of the 8th, 86. Glenfall the Vigilante at Porth. Glenfall the Vigilante at Porth. .244 Trinarca's Time Has Come, owned and bred by Mr. Stan Thompson, signed by Belmont the Equalizer out of Trinarca Gypsy, born 26th of the 8th, 88. Trinarca's Time Has Come. Trinarca's Time Has Come. .234 D-Run Vindicator, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. H. Spencer, signed by champion Rupic Bellringer of Seafeld out of Truvin's Lady of Seafeld, born 5th of the 12th, 86. D-Run Vindicator. D-Run Vindicator. .17 Glenfall Expatriate, owned and bred by Mrs. Pam Broughton, signed by international champion Tabor v. Vokaben at Linpine out of Anya v. Domendal at Glenfall, born 15th of the 10th, 88. Glenfall Expatriate. Glenfall Expatriate.
Everything okay this end, lads? Enjoying yourself, okay, all right?
Good. 27. Suzanne Carr, Rain or Shine, owned and bred by Mrs. S&S Carter, signed by Suzanne Carr Perseverance out of Wild Axe Likely Suggestion, born 25th of the 3rd, 88. Suzanne Carr, Rain or Shine. Suzanne Carr, Rain or Shine. Toy Boy at Marbleton, Heart Boys Red Hunter, Red Leader of Winniwook, Limeray Deal Again, That'll Do Me Rough Diamond, McTaggart of Trinarca at Abbeythorn, Winniwook Thank Heavens of Marencine, We've got D-Run Vindicator, Janet Can Just in Time, Trinarca's Time Has Come, Glenfall Expatriate, and Susan Carr, Rain or Shine, previously seen is Tynesider Sun Lover. Final selection are Toy Boy at Marbleton, Heart Boys Red Hunter, Red Leader of Winniwook, Limeray Deal Again, Suzanne Carr, Rain or Shine, Trinarca's Time Has Come, Janet Can Just in Time, McTaggart of Trinarca at Abbeythorn, and D-Run Vindicator. First, Suzanne Carr, Rain or Shine. Second, Toy Boy at Marbleton. Third, Limeray Deal Again. Reserve, McTaggart of Trinarca at Abbeythorn. 3HC, Janet Can Just in Time. And 8C, D-Run Vindicator. Janet Can Just in Time, McTaggart of Trinarca at Abbeythorn, Limeray Deal Again, and once again first, postgrad dog was Susan Carr, Rain or Shine. We are now on to Class 7 Limit Dog, 15 entered. We've seen Simcoe First Noel, Farfield Maestro at Sandine, Jacoba the President, Fair Dawn Fancy Man, Blue Cap Up and Away to Harmore, the Callens Highlander at Tamarai, Trendy Ted of Tarpen, Tonitron True Glory, Von Trapu Just One Look, Ockenden Double or Quits, Rustar Play to the Crowd at Santana. And once again, previously seen was Tynesider Sun Lover. First one to be seen was 85, Simcoe First Noel, owned by Mrs. M. Gerry and Mr. G. Mann, bred by Mrs. M. Sims. Side by Gerry off Boxer Tricks out of Simcoe Parisian Beauty, born 23rd of the 12th, 87. Simcoe First Noel.
Steady. Steady. Get up.
Simcoe First Noel. $299, Farfield Maestro at Sandine. Owned by Mr. and Mrs. D.B. Woods, bred by Mr. Leslie Whitfield, side by Wardo V. Domendal out of Benbrook and Dante of Farfield. Born 1st of the 8th, 86. Farfield Maestro at Sandine. Farfield Maestro at Sandine. $65, Jacoba the President. Owned and bred by Mr. Fred and Miss Eileen Davis, side by champion Fair Dawn Pheasant Plucker out of Penzing Silver Sonata at Jacoba. Born 4th of the 6th, 88. Jacoba the President. Jacoba the President. Number 11, Fair Dawn Fancy Man, owned by Mr. T.J. Bird, bred by Sue Harvey and Rodney Hughes, signed by champion Norwatch Glory Boy Rayfoss, out of Fair Dawn Tickle My Fancy. Born 8th of the 1st, 86. Fair Dawn Fancy Man. Fair Dawn Fancy Man. .304. Blue Cap Up and Away to Harmore, owned by Mrs. Maureen Rank, bred by S. Gorman. Signed by champion Fairdawn Flashbang Wallop out of Join the Hunt at Blue Cap. Born 28th of the 8th, 86. Blue Cap Up and Away to Harmore. Blue Cap Up and Away to Harmore.
It always happens like that.
Stupid man.
He got his camera set.
Blue Cap Up and Away to Harmore. .61. Vicallans Highlander of Tamarai, owned by Mr. and Mrs. C.A. Crutchley, bred by Mrs. Marion Granger, signed by champion Snarestone Pinocchio of Tyzac out of Vicallans Marbrown, born 20th of the 11th, 86. Vicallans Highlander of Tamarai. Vicallans Highlander of Tamarai. Number 1. Trendy Ted of Tarpen, owned by Mrs. J.E. Alton, bred by J.E. Gascoigne. Signed by Tarpen Trendsetter out of Susie Goody Two Shoes, born 22nd of the 8th, 86. Trendy Ted of Tarpen.
I hope I don't look like it.
Trendy Ted of Tarpen.
I used to like it when she waxed in so
She buys all the friends ice creams as well.
You've had your cup of tea.
256. Tonitron True Glory, owned and bred by Mrs. Sagra Tonkin, signed by Quibus V. Rusticana of Wild Axe out of champion Tonitron Glory Girl, born 6th of the 1st, 88, and handled by Philip Greenway. Tonitron True Glory. Tonitron True Glory.
This is the lady I'm looking at.
92. Bon Trapu Just One Look, owned and bred by Miss J. Granfield and Miss Mary Lane, signed by Willrate Ursa Major out of Socotra's Music of the Night at Bon Trapu, born 9th of the 10th, 88. Bon Trapu Just One Look.
No. What Pat's tried to do is to get a meeting together.
Bon Trapu Just One Look.
And to give him the opportunity to discuss what they want. Now, if he doesn't look, I don't want to do it.
131. Bockenden Double or Quits, owned and bred by Mrs. Peggy Ingram, signed by champion Norwich Brockbuster out of Lunana Colour by Numbers at Bockenden, born 16th of the 7th, 86. Bockenden Double or Quits. Bockenden Double or Quits.
It's cooling, isn't it, Philip?
Silly wrist.
287. Rustar Play to the Crowd at Santana, owned by Mrs. Bernadette Whitfield, bred by Sprankling, signed by Rustar Play for Pleasure out of Rustar Girls Talk, born 17th of the 9th, 87. Rustar Play to the Crowd at Santana. to the crowd at Santana. $100, Jim Brent Royal Scot, owned and bred by Jim and Brenda Groves, side by champion Relentless Flying Scotchman of Wynnework out of Jim Bren Super Stunt, born 6th of the 7th, 88. Jim Bren Royal Scot.
I do. She was
Jim Bren Royal Scot.
I'll tell you someone else I like to sing from. Do you remember Maurice and Carol? Maurice and Carol? Oh my God, he's going my way.
Jim Kong First Noel, Farfield Meister at Sandine, Jacoba the President, Fair Dawn Fancy Man, Blue Cap Up and Away to Harmore, The Gallons Highlander at Tamarai, Trendy Ted of Tarpen, Tontron True Glory, Von Trapu Just One Look, Bockenden Double or Quits,
I'm only behind you in the tent.
Rustar played to the crowd at Santana, and Jim Bren Royal Scot.
Have you rung up, Al?
No.
I've previously seen Tyneside at Sun Lover.
No reply.
What is it, Jim?
That's right, they'll be there. Don't worry, I shan't ring, they're okay.
Final selection are Blue Cap Up and Away to Harmore, Jacoba the President, Vic Allens the Highlander of Tamarai, Trendy Ted of Tarpen, Tonitron True Glory, Rustar played to the crowd at Santana, Von Trapu Just One Look, Bockenden Double or Quits, and Jim Bren Royal Scot.
Yes, I like.
Jim Bren Royal Scot, Von Trapu Just One Look, Santana played to the crowd at Rustar played to the crowd at Santana. First, Jim Bren Royal Scot, Von Trapu Just One Look, Tonitron True Glory, Trendy Ted of Tarpen, Jacoba the President, and Rustar played to the crowd at Santana. Jim Bren Royal Scot, Von Trapu Just One Look, Tonitron True Glory, Trendy Ted of Tarpen, Jacoba the President, and Rustar played to the crowd at Santana. First, Jim Bren Royal Scot, second, Von Trapu Just One Look, third, Tonitron True Glory, Reserve, Trendy Ted of Tarpen, B8C, Jacoba the President, and 8C, Rustar played to the crowd at Santana. Jacoba the President, Trendy Ted of Tarpen, Tonitron True Glory, Von Trapu Just One Look. Once again, first limit dog was Jim Bren Royal Scot. Class 8, open dog, 8 entered, 1 transferred from novice, 1 previously seen, and all present. We've got champion Stainmere Forceful William, Will Rate Ursa Major, champion Sandnoak Robbie Redcoat, champion Bitzer Shoutin' Raw, champion Leagueberg Clinton, Rustar Playtime, Iron Scene Jimny Cricket transferred from novice, and Tonitron All Glory of Wild Axe. First one we've seen in open dog is 161, champion Stainmere Forceful William, owned by Ms. Dams Lunn, Farnham and Catanack, bred by Dr. Bruce Catanack, signed by champion Garnett Gillard of Stainmere out of Stainmere Easy Touch, born 30th of the 1st, 86. Champion Stainmere Forceful William. Champion Stainmere Forceful William. $295 Will Rate Ursa Major, owned by Mrs. Rita Williams and Mrs. Meredith, bred by Mrs. Rita Williams, signed by Wilrate Quite Likely out of Sweet Scarlet of Wilrate, born 22nd of the 5th, 85. Wilrate Ursa Major. Wilrate Ursa Major. Champion Santon Oaks Robbie Redcoat, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. Vince and Annabelle Zammit, signed by Champion Norwatch Glory Boy of Rayfoss out of Santon Oaks Gorgeous Gussie, born 3rd of the 1st, 87. Champion Santon Oaks Robbie Redcoat. Champion Santon Oaks Robbie Redcoat. (267) Champion Bits of Shout and Roar, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. Andrew and Pat Varney, signed by Champion Fair Dawn Pheasant Plucker out of Hot Hooch of Tygarth, born 8th of the 9th, 86. Champion Bits of Shout and Roar. Champion Bits of Shout and Roll. Champion Leedberg Clinton, owned and bred by Mr. Peter Perrin, signed by Champion Tygarth Blue Kiwi out of Leedberg Christina, born 31st of the 5th, 87. Champion Leedberg Clinton. Champion Leedberg Clinton. (217) Rustar Playtime, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. Paul and Tina Russell, signed by Rustar Play for Pleasure out of Irish Champion Rustar Towns Talk, born 14th of the 9th, 87. Rustar Playtime. (214) Marancine Jiminy Cricket, owned and bred by Vanessa Rogers and Marion Gordon Sini, signed by Shaffordian Boulder Claim out of Forbidden Fruit of Woollywuck at Marancine, born 8th of the 1st, 89, has been transferred from Novice. Marancine Jiminy Cricket. Marancine Jiminy Cricket. (294) Tonitron All Glory of Wild Axe, owned by Margaret and Frank Wildman, bred by Sagra Tonkin, signed by Quibus V. Rusticana of Wild Axe out of Champion Tonitron Glory Girl, born 6th of the 1st, 88. Tonitron All Glory of Wild Axe. Tonitron All Glory of Wild Axe. Champion Stainmere Forceful William, Wilrate Ursa Major, Champion Santon Oaks Robbie Redcoat, Champion Bitzer Shout and Roll, Champion Liebberg Clinton, Champion Liebberg Clinton, Rustar Playtime, Morrissey Jiminy Cricket, Tonic and All Glory Wild Axe, and previously seen Tidesider Sunlover. Final selection are Champion Stamia Forceful William, Champion Bitzer Shout and Roll, Tonic and All Glory of Wild Axe, Rustar Playtime, Champion Santanoak's Robbie Redcoat, and Champion Liebberg Clinton. First, Champion Bitzer Shout and Roll, second, Tonic and All Glory of Wild Axe, third, Champion Stainmere Forceful William, reserve Rustar Playtime, V8C Champion Santanoak's Robbie Redcoat, and 8C Champion Liebberg Clinton. Champion Santanoak's Robbie Redcoat, Rustar Playtime, Champion Stainmere Forceful William, Tonic and All Glory of Wild Axe, and once again first open dog was Champion Bitzer Shout and Roll. Class 9, Veteran Dog, 8 entered, 1 previously seen and 2 absent. Champion Stainmere Night Rider, Norwatch Ghost Rider of Santana, Casella Co-Star, Champion Fairdawn Pheasant Plucker, and Fairdawn Pinball Wizard, and previously seen Tidesider Sunlover. Champion Fairdawn Pheasant Plucker, Casella Co-Star, Norwatch Ghost Rider of Santana, and Champion Stainmere Night Rider. First one to be seen in Class 9 Veteran Dog is number 33, Champion Stainmere Night Rider. Owned and bred by Dr. Bruce Katernack, signed by Austrian Champion That's Right of Spanfield, out of Champion Calendar's Girl of Stainmere. Born 18th of the 5th, 79. Champion Stainmere Night Rider. Champion Stainmere Night Rider. (289) Norwatch Ghost Rider of Santana. Owned by Miss Sonia Whitfield, bred by Mrs. Helen Banks. Signed by Champion Stainmere Night Rider out of Norwatch Mustang Wine. Born 19th of the 8th, 82. Norwatch Ghost Rider of Santana. Norwatch Ghost Rider of Santana.
Well, Sue, that's just sit there.
175 Casella Co-Star. Owned by Mrs. Jane Milton, bred by Mrs. Peace Earl. Signed by Casella Telstar out of Casella Mischief Maker. Born 19th of the 6th, 83. Casella Co-Star. (125) Champion Fairdawn Pheasant Plucker. Owned by Rodney Hughes and Sue Harvey and bred by them both also. Signed by Champion Tygarth Famous Grouse out of Fairdawn Ginger and Spice. Born 6th of the 11th, 1980. Champion Fairdawn Pheasant Plucker. Champion Fairdawn Pheasant Plucker. (126) Fairdawn Pinball Wizard. Owned by Rodney Hughes and Miss J. Hughes. Bred by Sue Harvey. Signed by Champion Tygarth Famous Grouse out of Fairdawn Ginger and Spice. Born 8th of the 9th, 82. Fairdawn Pinball Wizard. We've seen Champion Stainmere Night Rider, Norwatch Ghost Rider of Santana, Casella Co-Star, Champion Fairdawn Pheasant Plucker, Fairdawn Pinball Wizard, and previously seen Tyneside Sunlover. Fairdawn Pinball Wizard, Champion Fairdawn Pheasant Plucker, Casella Co-Star, Norwatch Ghost Rider of Sontana, and Champion Stainmere Night Rider. First, Champion Stainmere Night Rider. Second, Champion Fairdawn Pheasant Plucker. Third, Norwatch Ghost Rider of Sontana. Reserve Casella Co-Star, B8C Fairdawn Pinball Wizard, and 8C Tyneside Sunlover, Fairdawn Pinball Wizard. Tyneside Sunlover, Fairdawn Pinball Wizard, Casella Co-Star, Norwatch Ghost Rider of Sontana, and Champion Fairdawn Pheasant Plucker, and Champion Stainmere Night Rider was first in Veteran Dog. Unbeaten Dogs, Jim Bren Royal Replica, winner of Minor Puppy Dog. Sue Mike Golden Lad of Stainmere, winner of Puppy Dog. Mantim Optimist of Trywell, winner of Junior Dog. Winnerwork Commotion, winner of Novice Dog. Tygarth Attitude Adjuster, Tygarth Attitude Adjuster, winner of Undergraduate Dog. Susan Carr Rain No Shine, winner of Postgraduate Dog. Jim Bren Royal Scott, winner of Limit Dog.
Who done that then? Where?
Champion Bitcher Shout and Roar, winner of Open Dog. And Champion Stainmere Night Rider, winner of Veteran Dog.
No.
Champion Bitcher Shout and Roar, winner of Open Dog. Jim Bren Royal Scott, winner of Limit Dog. Suzanne Carr Rain No Shine, winner of Postgraduate Dog. Tygarth Attitude Adjuster, winner of Undergraduate Dog. Winnerwork Commotion, winner of Novice Dog. Mantim Optimistic at Trywell, winner Junior Dog. Champion Bitcher Shout and Roar.
Where's your partner?
Jim Bren Royal Scott. Champion Bitcher Shout and Roar. Jim Bren Royal Scott. This is challenging for the dog certificate, Dog CC. Champion Bitcher Shout and Roar and Jim Bren Royal Scott. Champion Bitcher Shout and Roar, winner of Open Dog, Jim Bren Royal Scott. Champion Bitcher Shout and Roar. And Jim Bren Royal Scott. Jim Bren Royal Scott gets the Dog CC. Second from Open, second from Limit comes in Bontrapu, just one look to challenge for the Reserve CC. Bontrapu, just one look, second Limit Dog. And Champion Bitcher Shout and Roar, winner of Open Dog.
Call the dog, Bertie, and he goes, hush. Yeah, and none of them go and get over his back.
Champion Bitcher Shout and Roar, winner of Open Dog and the Dog Reserve CC. Jim Bren Royal Scott, winner Limit Dog and Dog CC. And Champion Bitcher Shout and Roar, winner Open Dog and Dog Reserve CC. We are now on to Sire of Merit. We've had Champion Genroy put my cork to walk on.
Tygarth Glen Morangi of Genroy with 12 green card winners. Champion Tygarth Glen Morangi of Genroy.
For the awards, I'll let you hear the announcements.
We will now make the presentation first of all to Sheila Cartwright.
Champion Tygarth and Rancho Genroy then.
The trophies will be presented today by Mrs. Wilson Wiley.
Champion Tygarth Glenmorangie of Genroy with 12 green card winners is the Sire of Merit. Champion Tygarth Glenmorangie of Genroy on the left and Champion Genroy Potmike to walk on the right with Mrs. Connie Wilson Wiley.
It turned out to be extremely close in the results.
This is for Richard Merritt.
Third place, Champion Tenantron Glory Girl with 2 green card winners from the same sire, having won 2 CCs.
Champion Tenantron Glory Girl. Champion Tenantron Glory Girl, 2 card winners with 2 CCs from the same sire.
In second place, Santon Oaks Game Bird with 2 green card winners, the same sire, having won 4 CCs.
Santon Oaks Game Bird with 2 card winners winning 4 CCs between them from the same sire. He's in second place with
and the winner of the Dam of Merit for this year is Anja van Domendal with 2 green card winners with different sires.
Unfortunately, Anja V. Domendal at Glenfall cannot be here because she's on maternity duties at the moment.
Now then, you can saddle this one and ride if you want.
Yeah.
Well, I did.
Pam Broughton receiving the trophy.
No, she ain't. This one is. So mine doesn't fight.
For Bitch of Merit, Anja V. Domendal at Glenfall.
She's gorgeous.
Santon Oaks Game Bird then, runner-up.
Right, look over here, please.
Smile, Annabelle.
Thank you.
And the winner of that trophy today is Champion Tygarth Blue Kiwi with 21 CCs.
Top dog is Champion Tygarth Blue Kiwi, having won 21 challenge certificates. Champion Tygarth Blue Kiwi. We now move on to Class 12 Puppy Bitch, 16 entered, 2 absent. Gwyn Howley, Genevieve. Milissum Simply Red. Tygarth Pink Pussycat. Lovely Lindy Lou of Landermere. Dolphin Side Celeste of Akendine. Positively Tailor Made. Princess Charisma of Chania. Winter Mist. Dead Lucky. Danlow Don't Give a 4X. Mar Bryant Fingers and Thumbs. Chasum Chintara. Snarestone Eye Opener at McAllen. And Rycroft Modern Mini. First one to be seen was Gwyn Howley Genevieve, owner bred by Mr. and Mrs. G and L Jones, signed by Jacoba the President out of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang at Gwyn Howley, and she was born on the 15th of the 8th, 89. Number 40, Milissum Simply Red, owned and bred by Mrs. C. Chippendale, signed by Bellow and the Statesman out of Maggie of Milissum, born 24th of the 8th, 89. Milissum Simply Red. Milissum Simply Red. 281, Tygarth Pink Pussycat, Owned by Mrs. Leslie Waring and Mrs. Val Moss, bred by Miss Sheila Cartwright. Side by the Jacobite of Tygarth, out of Tygarth, Parfait Amour. Born 15th of the 9th, 89. Tygarth Pink Pussycat. (173) Lovely Lindy Lou of Landermere. Owned by Mr. and Mrs. T.E. Mills, bred by R.H. Sims. Side by Champion Leaguebird Clinton, out of Memory of Tiptoes. Born 20th of the 8th, 89. Lovely Lindy Lou of Landermere. Lovely Lindy Lou of Landermere. 98. Dolphin Side Celeste of Akendine. Owned by Miss June Grover, bred by Holt. Side by Heritage Lucky Break of Akendine, out of Mary Hay True Colours of Dolphin Side. Born 10th of the 11th, 89. Dolphin Side Celeste of Akendine. Dolphin Celeste of Akendine. Now we're on to bitches Sid Riley is judging. As I said earlier, unfortunately we've missed Veteran Bitch and Minor Puppy Bitch. 242, Positively Tailor-Made. Owned by Mrs. J. Taylor and bred by her also. Side by Heritage Lucky Break of Akendine, out of Landor Red Ribbons. Born 16th of the 9th, 89. Positively Tailor-Made. Positively Tailor-Made. (166) Princess Charisma of Chania, name applied for. Owned by Mr. and Mrs. Meredith, bred by Mr. and Mrs. Meredith and Williams. Side by Rustar Play for Pleasure, out of Wilrate Western Delight. Born 24th of the 10th, 89. Princess Charisma of Chania. 223, Winter Mist. Owned by GD, NC and J Sinister. Bred by Mr. D Langford. Signed by Chitaro's Rambo, out of Chitaro's Oxide Daisy. Born 27th of the 9th, 89. Winter Mist. Winter Mist. 224, Dead Lucky. Owned by GD, NC and J Sinister. Bred by Mr. D Langford. Signed by Chitaro's Rambo, out of Chitaro's Oxide Daisy. Born 27th of the 9th, 89. Dead Lucky. 159, Dunlow Don't Give a 4X. Owned and bred by J.A. and P. Lowry. Signed by Champion Santnote Robbie Redcoat.
Yeah, I know.
Out of Danlow Barbaresco. Born 13th of the 10th, 89. Danlow Don't Give a 4X. 102, Ma Bryan Fingers and Thumbs. Owned and bred by Mr. B.W. Hall. Signed by Rustar Play for Pleasure. Out of Fair Dawn Finger Licking Good of Ma Bryan. Born 22nd of the 12th, 89. Ma Bryan Fingers and Thumbs.
Yeah.
123, Shazam Chintara. Owned and bred by Mr. Laurie Hyams. Signed by Shazam Kamoser, out of Shazam Chanteur. Born 7th of the 10th, 89. Shazam Chintara. 93, Snarestone Eye Opener at Vicallen. Name applied for and transfer applied for. Owned by Mrs. Marion Granger, bred by Miss Liz Nevis. Sired by Snarestone Eye Catcher, out of Desiree of Fife at Snarestone. Born 10th of the 8th, 89. Snarestone Eye Opener at Vicallen. Snarestone Eye Opener at Vicallen. For 66, Rycroft Modern Millie, owned by Mr. and Mrs. J.W. Davis, bred and shown by Frank Unsworth, signed by champion Norwatch Sunhawk Raffles out of Rycroft, Sweet Caroline, born 11th of the 10th, 89. Rycroft Modern Millie. Gwynhowley Genevieve, I Listen Simply Red, Tygarth Pink Pussycat, Lovely Lindy Lou of Landermere, Dolphin Side Celeste of Akendine, Positively Tailor Made, Princess Charisma of Chenier, Winter Mist, Dead Lucky, Danlow Don't Give a 4X, Mar Bryan Fingers and Thumbs, Shazam Chintara, Snarestone Eye Opener at Vicallen, and Rycroft Modern Millie. First, Gwynhowley Genevieve, second, Rycroft Modern Millie, third, Dolphin Side Celeste of Akendine, third, Snarestone Eye Opener at Vicallen, VHC was Shazam Chintara, and Princess Charisma of Chenier was HC. And once again, first was Gwynhowley Genevieve.
That was the first time.
Class 13, Junior Bitch, 25 entered, 4 absent. Winnywork Good Day to Clanstead, Champion Santa Notes Kiwi Magic at Manic, Walk On Going Dutch, Zoshal Hot Gossip, Comad Especially For You, Stainmere Foreign Copy, Wonder Robo Dark Charmer, Surprise Surprise of Roylark, Keep On Knocking at Malia, Ophelia of Winnywork, Pim's Perfection of Tygarth, Tonitron Glory Lass, Genroy Bit of a Popsy, Winnywork Heavens Above at Marencine, That'll Do Me Prim and Proper, Arcadius Roses Out Tonight, That'll Do Me No Problem, Dunkus Fair and Square. The first one to have been seen in Junior Bitch was 59, Winnywork Good Day to Clanstead. Owned by Mr. Chris Cray, bred by Marion Ivor Ward Davis, Julie Brown and Tim Hutchings. Signed by champion Tygarth Glenmorangie of Genroy, out of Golden Licious of Winnywork. Born 29th of the 4th, 89. 47. Champion Santa Noaks Kiwi Magic at Manic. Owned by Mr. Julie Cook, bred by Vince Annabelle Zammit. Signed by champion Tygarth Blue Kiwi out of Santa Noaks Game Bird. Born 5th of the 2nd, 89. Champion Santa Noaks Kiwi Magic at Manic. 169. Walk On Going Dutch. Owned and bred by Mrs. Yvonne Miller. Signed by Dolph the Bew Farm of Marbleton out of champion Walk On Smashed Again. Born the 17th of the 5th, 90.
It's true, actually.
Champion, sorry, Walk On Going Dutch.
Mad woman disease.
Walk On Going Dutch.
Well, I keep going round this ring, I think, well, I must be like the back out of the house. We got a couple of Josh. Game Bird was runner up till down the year. And I said to Mrs.
88. Zoshal Hot Gossip. Owned and bred by Mrs. C.T. Gibson. Signed by champion Belinda Rigoletto of Holwell out of Zoshal Fireflash. Born 9th of the 4th, 89. Zoshal Hot Gossip.
What's that? She's said that. Yeah. Oh, I would like to.
57. Kamad, especially for you. Owned and bred by Mr. D, Mrs. M and Miss K Crane. Side by champion Stainmere Forceful William out of Cadenda. Sweet Taste of Honey, born 11th for the 3rd, 89. Kamad, especially for you. Kamad, especially for you. 34. Stainmere Foreign Copy, owned and bred by Dr. Bruce Katanak. Side by international champion Tabor V. Vuckerben out of Stainmere Head the Honey, born the 7th of the 7th, 89. Stainmere Foreign Copy.
I know what I look like. I want to look and see who's in there. Shall I go to the loo? Shall I go and have a drink? No, I'll say it. There's dogs in it. I want to see.
20. Wanderobo Dark Charmer, owned and bred by Mrs. J. Buswell. Side by Wanderobo Coolit out of Sweet Rosie at Wanderobo, born 16th of the 6th, 89. Wanderobo Dark Charmer.
Probably going to charge you more than a pound.
277. Surprise, surprise of Roylark. Owned by Mr. A. Watson, bred by Mr. and Mrs. Hickford. Side by Roylark Bosun's Mate out of Princess Endor. Born 23rd of the 3rd, 89. Surprise, surprise of Roylark. Number 2, Keep on Knocking at Malia. Owned by Mr. and Mrs. S. Attard, bred by Mrs. J. Ankinson. Side by Malia, Mr. Bigwig out of Just Wee Belandazina. Born 25th of the 3rd, 89. Keep on Knocking at Malia.
It's alright, Dad. It's alright. But I haven't managed to catch it.
Keep on Knocking at Malia. Number 5, Filia of Winniwock, owned by Mrs. T. Bastic, bred by Smith. Side by Red Duster of Winniwock out of Tammy of Winniwock. Born 24th of the 2nd, 89. I'm sure it's Mrs. T. Bostic, I'm sure it's a misprint. But that's a Filia of Winniwock. 268, Pim's Perfection of Tygarth. Owned by Mr. and Mrs. Andrew and Pat Varney, bred by R. Bellick Lowndes. Side by Tygarth Hogcutter, out of Leeburg, Monique, born 26th of the 7th, 89. Pim's Perfection of Tygarth.
Thank you. Not here.
Tonitron Glory Lass, owned and bred by Mrs. Sagra Tonkin, signed by Tonitron True Glory out of Tonitron Belladora. Handled by Philip Greenway, born 24th of the 7th, 89. Tonitron Glory Lass. Tonitron Glory Lass. .259 Genroy Bit of a Popsy, owned and bred by Mrs. Jenny Townend, signed by Champion Genroy Pop My Cork to Walk On out of Champion Genroy Lot Less Bother, on 18th of the 4th, 89. Genroy Bit of a Popsy. Genroy Bit of a Popsy.
When I set off and turned back because the roads were
216 Winniwock Heavens Above at Maronsine. Owned and bred by Vanessa Rogers and Marion Gordon Seeney, side by Champion Tygarth Glenmorangie of Genroy out of Good Heavens of Winniwock. Born 25th of the 4th, 89. Winniwock Heavens Above at Maronsine. 19. That'll Do Me, Prim and Proper, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. M.F. and L. Bunyan, signed by Orion Shooting Star out of Trywell, trimmed in black, born 2nd, 7th, 89. That'll do me, prim and proper. This one I think is 235, Arcadius Roses Out Tonight, owned and bred by Mrs. L. Spencer, signed by Champion Glenthorne the Gladiator, out of Dollymore, Harlem Shuffle at Arcadius, born 1st of the 8th, 88. Arcadius Roses Out Tonight.
We have one at a time.
I'm not sure of that dog. Oh, that bitch, sorry. 285, That'll Do Me, No Problem. Owned by Mr. and Mrs. J.A. Weisner, bred by Mr. and Mrs. Bunyan. Signed by Orion Shooting Star out of Trywell, trimmed in black, born 2nd of the 7th, 89. That'll Do Me, No Problem. 225, Dunkus Fair and Square. Owned by G.D., N.C. and J. Sinister, bred by Mr. D. Dunks, signed by Revluck Rainbow Quest of Rayfos, out of Rayfos All Around of Dunkus, on 31st of the 3rd, 89. Dunkus Fair and Square. (196) Cherrygate Blossom Time. Owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. T. Peak, signed by International Champion Tabor V. Blocker-Ben at Lynn Pine, out of Lynn Pine, Tosca, born 11th of the 3rd, 89. Cherrygate Blossom Time. 312, Santon Oaks Moody Blue. Owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. Vince and Annabelle Zammit, signed by Champion Tigard Blue Kiwi, out of Santon Oaks Game Bird, born 5th of the 2nd, 89.
Come on, Trim. Come on, darling. Come on.
Santon Oaks Moody Blue. (153) Beloran Dory Doodle, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. W.A. Law, signed by Champion Leaguebird Clinton out of Beloran Cherry Pecksniff, born 23rd of the 2nd, 89. Beloran Dory Doodle. 3rd Champion Santon Oaks Kiwi Magic, 2nd Walk On Going Dutch, 3rd Winniwook Heavens Above at Maronsine, 3rd Tonitron Glory Lass, VHC That'll Do Me Prim and Proper, and 8C Surprise Surprise of Roylark. That'll Do Me Prim and Proper. Tonitron Glory Lass, Winniwook Heavens Above at Maronsine, Walk On Going Dutch, and once again 1st Junior Bitch with Champion Santon Oaks Kiwi Magic. Class 14 Novice Bitch, 37 entered, 4 previously seen and 13 absent. We've seen Kaleith Teresa Rumpus, Santon Oaks Daisy Picker for Joe Leggy, Snarestone Frensham, Cover Girl at Dysalon, Parisian Princesses Unique, Santon Oaks Luby Lou Gruledge, Bywell Something Special, Quite Lark at Riggerhusen, Princess Titinia of Winniwook. Because there's so many in the class, I'll leave them now until we're seen. Once again, Class 14 Novice Bitch, 37 entered, 4 previously seen and 13 absent. First one to be seen is 108. Kaleith Teresa Rumpus, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. Bob and Lindsay Hall, signed by Champion Generoid Pop My Call to Walk On, out of Sheffordian Comedy Fair at Bazaars, born 29th of the 6th, 89. Kaleith Teresa Rumpus.
Oh, that is a brush.
No, mine is nervous and
45. Santon Oaks Daisy Picker for Joleggy, owned by Mr. and Mrs. L and Miss J. Clifton, bred by Mr. and Mrs. Vince and Annabelle Zammit, signed by Champion Santon Oaks Robbie Redcoat out of Santon Oaks Dolly Lots, born 8th of the 4th, 89. Santon Oaks Daisy Picker for Joleggy. 64. Snarestone Frensham, owned and bred by Miss Liz Davis, signed by Igor Van Janik of Wild Axe out of Snarestone New Penny, born 21st of the 3rd, 89. Snarestone Frensham. 38. Cover Girl at Dysalon, owned by SP and W Chilcott, bred by SJ Russell. Side by Fair Dawn front page story at Dysalon out of Brindle Spring, born 16th of the 9th, 88. Cover Girl at Dysalon. (162) Parisian Princess is unique, owned by Dr. and Mrs. J. McBride, bred by Mr. and Mrs. Dawson, out of Hot Toddy is unique, side by Hot Toddy is unique out of Midnight Arabella, born 25th of the 7th, 88. Persian Princess is unique. 121 Santon Oaks Looby Loo at Gryluge, owned by TV and K. Healy, bred by Mr. and Mrs. Vince and Annabelle Zammit. Side by Santon Oaks Burlington Bertie out of Santon Oaks Katie Cotton Socks, born 17th of the 7th, 89. Santon Oaks Looby Loo at Gryluge. 56 Buy Well Something Special, owned and bred by Mrs. F.D. Cram. Sired by Savron the Terrible out of Bywell Golden Tipple, born 19th of the 1st, 89. Bywell Something Special. Bywell Something Special. 291 Buckstep Starkers, owned and bred by Mrs. Jenny Whittaker. Side by Hutton Vale High Sheriff out of In the Buff at Bucksteps, born 9th of the 3rd, 89. Bucksteps Starkers. Bucksteps Starkers. 128 Quite a Lark at Riggerhausen, owned by Mrs. Ruth Hughes, bred by Mrs. Mackenzie. Side by Riggerhausen Woodlark out of Cloudsmere, Cass, born 20th of the 6th, 89. Quite a Lark at Riggerhausen.
Oh, that's right.
6 Princess Titania of Winnework, owned by Mrs. T. Bostic, bred by Mrs. Richardson. Side by Red Duster of Winnework out of Santana Black Lace, born 16th of the 1st, 89. Princess Titania of Winnework. 44 Cozdar Love Me Too, owned and bred by Mrs. Josie Cliff. Side by Champion Tygarth Blue Kiwi out of Merely a Dream of Cozdar, born 17th of the 3rd, 89. Cozdar Love Me Too. 'Love Me Too'. 260 Genroy What a Corker, owned and bred by Mrs. Jenny Townsend, side by Champion Genroy Pot My Cork to Walk On, out of Champion Genroy Lot Less Bother, born 18th of the 4th, 89. Genroy What a Corker.
Yeah.
184 Hartfordian Rosefinch, owned and bred by Mrs. S. Newman, side by Champion 8 Bells of Seafeld, out of Coral Art of Seafeld, born 10th of the 6th, 89. Hartfordian Rosefinch. Hartfordian Rosefinch. 207 Pollux Aola, owned and bred by Mrs. A. Porter, side by Red Duster at Winnework, out of Pollux Dowra Delight, born 25th of the 3rd, 88.
This is nice.
Pollux Aola.
think I'd better go out.
16. Walk on Stocking Tops of Doncleve, owned by Miss N. Brooks and Miss C. Ellingworth, bred by Mrs. Yvonne Miller, signed by Genroy What No Stripes out of Tarrana Tequila of Walk On, born 14th of the 5th, 89. Walk on Stocking Tops of Doncleve. Walk on Stocking Tops of Doncleve.
That's clever, isn't it? No, you can't. No, it's
81. Sabrina Midnight Seville, owned by Mrs. Y. Fragilely Smith, bred by B and C Johns, signed by Sabrina Rising Star out of Scaramouche at Belair, born 28th of the 3rd, 89. Sabrina Midnight Seville.
I don't care if you just love you, I do.
236. Doneymore Simply the Best, owned and bred by Mrs. Norma Knox, shown by Mrs. L. Spencer. Signed by Belair Bolero, V.D. Highneuter, out of Doneymore Playing with Fire, born 18th of the 7th, 89. Doneymore Simply the Best. 80. Weimar Divine Providence, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. Mary and Mervyn Poe, signed by Donk the Bew Farm of Marbleton, out of Weimar Heaven Sent, born 29th of the 6th, 89. Weimar Divine Providence.
16.
Weimar Divine Providence.
Is she here? Where is she?
76. Visage Scarlet Ribbons, owned and bred by Miss Isabel Edison, signed by Champion Santanoak's Robbie Redcoat out of Chris Gay Highland Fling of Visage, born 8th of the 6th, 89. Visage Scarlet Ribbons.
I'll never do it.
Who's better, the dog or the hen?
Visage Scarlet Ribbons.
Last one.
168. Walk on Monopoly, owned and bred by Mrs. Yvonne Miller, signed by Champion Tygarth Blue Kiwi out of Socotra's Royal Toast to Walk On, born 15th of the 7th, 89. Walk on Monopoly. Walk on Monopoly.
Last night,
Cleith Teresa Rumpus, Santanoak's Daisy Picker for Joe Leggy, Snarestone Frensham, Cover Girl at Dysalon, Parisian Princess is Unique, Santanoak Looby Loo at Gryluge,
Yeah.
Buy Well Something Special, Bugsteps Starkers, Quite a Lark at Riggerhausen, Princess Titania of Winniwook, Cozdar Love Me Too, Genroy Watercorker, Hartfordian Rosefinch, Pollux Aola, Walk on Stocking Tops of Doncleve, Sabrina Midnight Seville, Doneymore Simply the Best, Weimar Divine Providence, Visage Scarlet Ribbons, Walk on Monopoly, and previously seen That'll Do Me Prim and Proper, Wanderobo Dark Charmer, Dolphin Side Celeste Akandine, and That'll Do Me No Problem. First, Visage Scarlet Ribbons. Sorry, I was a bit ahead of myself there. Final selection. First, Visage Scarlet Ribbons. Second, Walk on Monopoly. Third, Walk on Stocking Tops of Doncleve. Reserve Bugsteps Starkers. 3HC Genroy Watercorker and 8C Kaleith Teresa Rumpus. Genroy Watercorker, Pugstep Starkers, Walk On Stocking Tops of Duncleve, Walk On Monopoly, and once again first novice bitch was Visage Scarlet Ribbons. We are now class 15 undergraduate bitch, 17 entered, 3 previously seen, 3 absent. We've seen Remu, Copelia White Barton, Sandyne Sophisticated Lady, Amanzi Paper Chase, Simcoe Turkish Light of Macbrook, Glenfall Dawn Chorus of Amble Joy, Santa Fe of Winniework, Shiloh Made to Measure, The Surfstone, The Gospel Column of Dysalon, Panfield Rhyme and Reason, Fair Dawn Teach Me Tonight, and Even Shah's Freddy's Revenge. The first one to be seen was 286 Remu Copelia at White Barton, owned by Mr. and Mrs. White, bred by Mr. and Mrs. J. Bennett, signed by Wilrate Whiskey Ginger, out of White Barton, Summersong, born 21st of the 4th, 89. Remu Copelia at White Barton. 300 Sandyne Sophisticated Lady, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. D.B. Woods, signed by Farfield Maestro at Sandyne, out of Kiss and Makeup at Marbleton, born 3rd of the 3rd, 88. Sandyne Sophisticated Lady. Sandyne Sophisticated Lady. .228 Amanzi Paper Chase, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. A.M. Smith, shown by Rita Williams, signed by Wilrate Ticker-Tape, out of Glenfall, Glint of Gold at Amanzi, born 21st of the 11th, 88. Amanzi Paper Chase. Amanzi Paper Chase. 241 Simcoe Turkish Delight of Macbrook, owned by Mesdames Sims and McIntosh, bred by Mrs. M. Sims, signed by Garrioff Boxer Tricks, out of Simcoe Parisian Beauty, born 23rd of 12th, 87. Simcoe Turkish Delight of Macbrook. 243 Glenfall Dawn Chorus of Amberjoy, owned by Mrs. J. Terry, bred by Mrs. Pam Broughton, signed by Champion Glenfall the Gladiator, out of Glenfall Dawn Run, born 16th of the 6th, 88. Glenfall Dawn Chorus of Amberjoy. 275 Santa Fe of Winniework, owned by Ivor and Marion Ward Davis, Julie Brown and Tim Hutchins, bred by Richardson, signed by Champion Rencliffe Flying Scotch of Winniework, out of Santana Black Lace, born 10th of the 5th, 88. Santa Fe of Winniework.
Limit dog, we got a few.
238 Shiloh Made to Measure for Surfstone, owned by Mrs. V. Stinton, bred by Messrs. Stuart Lockwood Brown and Tony Curtin, signed by Champion Santa Oaks Robbie Redcoat, out of Shiloh Shady Lady, born 6th of the 7th, 88. Shiloh Made to Measure for Surfstone.
Been lucky though, you need to
179 The Gossip Column of Dysalon, owned by Mr. and Mrs. R and W.A. Mitchell, bred by Mr. Russell, signed by Fair Dawn Front Page Story at Dysalon, out of Brindle Spring, born 16th of the 9th, 88. The Gossip Column of Dysalon. Number 50 Panfield Rhyme and Reason, owned by Mr. and Mrs. Ian K. Cornelius, bred by Major Stafford Summerfield, signed by Panfield Manxman, out of Panfield Rant and Rave, born 2nd of the 12th, 87. Panfield Rhyme and Reason. 232 Fair Dawn Teach Me Tonight, owned by Major Stafford Summerfield, bred by Sue Harvey, signed by Champion Chiffordian John Joe, out of Fair Dawn Birds and Bees, born 20th of the 8th, 88. Fair Dawn, Teach Me Tonight. '82, Even Shah's of Freddy's Revenge, owned and bred by Mrs. Y. Fragilely Smith, signed by Even Shah's Autumn Shades. I'm sure they got this wrong way around. Printed wrong in the catalogue, so it's sired by champion Rankford Flying Scotsman Wynnewood out of Even Shah's Autumn Shades. Born 20th of the 6th, 88. Even Shah's of Freddy's Revenge. We've seen Remu Capelli at White Barton, Sandine Sophisticated Lady, Amanzi Paper Chase, Simcong Turkish Delight of Macbrook, Glenfall Dawn Chorus of Amberjoy, Santa Fe of Wynnewood, Shiloh Made to Measure for Surfstone, the Gossip Column of Dysalon, Fanfield Rhyme and Reason,
Wish me to put it up for you?
Fair Dawn Teach Me Tonight, and Even Shah's Freddy's Revenge, and previously seen Cover Girl of Dysalon, So Shell Hot Gossip and Command Especially for You. First, Amanzi Paper Chase, second, Santa Fe of Wynnewood, third, the Gossip Column of Dysalon, Reserve Remu Capelli at White Barton, VHC Shiloh Made to Measure for Surfstone, and HC Command Especially for You. And once again, first undergraduate bitch was Amanzi Paper Chase. Class 16 postgraduate bitch, 32 entered, 8 absent and 1 previously seen. We've seen Maybelline Ravishing Ruby, Heart Boys Red Royal, Arcadius Roses Out Tonight, Sue Mike Pick of Pack, Eberg Katrinka, Shaffordian Crystal Song at Tabor, Even Guild Cross Patch, Mar Bryan Dark Silhouette, Ballora and Loser Chick, Walk On Pleasantly Pickled, Dizzy Lizzie of Santa Notes of Brewlers, Flaming Star of Dean Drew, excuse the wobble there, Summer Star, Remu Gypsy Princess, Silvax Pink Bubbly, Pizza Half a Sixpence, Gary Off Heather's Pride of Glasswind.
Was that on video, Fred?
Yep. Wynnewood Heaven Above, Disco Dancer of Dodgers, Harmore Totter's Trade, Just a Flutter of Bockenden, Stupid Cupid of Trinarca, and Springbeck Sapphire of Cherrygate. Previously seen is Panfield Rhyme and Reason. First one to be seen in Class 16 postgraduate bitch is 147 Maybelline Ravishing Ruby, owned and bred by Miss Eileen Knight, signed by champion Shaffordian John Joe, out of Fair Dawn Fairy Tales of Maybelline. That's right. Born 2nd of the 10th, 88. Maybelline Ravishing Ruby. 186 Heart Boys Red Royal, owned and bred by Messrs. Gert Nielsen and David Spencer, signed by Tiger Hiram Walker is unique, out of Heart Boys Red Quest, born 19th of the 3rd, 86. Heart Boys Red Royal.
Yeah, well, we've been away a week, you see.
235 Arcadius Roses Out Tonight, owned and bred by Mrs. L. Spencer, signed by champion Glenfall the Gladiator, out of Donnymore Harlem Shuffle at Arcadius, born 1st of the 8th, 88. Arcadius Roses Out Tonight. 105 Sue Mike Pick of Pack, owned and bred by Mrs. Sue Hall, signed by champion Garnett Gellert of Stainmere, out of Sue Mike Eye Flasher, born 6th of the 7th, 88. Sue Mike Pick of Pack.
When I was thinking about it, Winnie Mandela came
Leedberg Katrinka, owned by Mr. and Mrs. R.J. and E.E. Pedlingham, bred by Peter Perrott, signed by champion Tygarth Blue Kiwi, out of Leedberg Christina, born 31st of the 5th, 87. Leedberg Katrinka. 21 Shaffordian Crystal Song at Paul, owned by Mr. T.R. and Mrs. P.R. Kane, bred by Mr. J. Carter, sired by Shaffordian Boulder Claim, out of Shaffordian Trudian, born 16th of the 8th, 87. Shaffordian Crystal Song at Paul. 89. Evangel Cross Patch, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. A and J Gillett, side by Jury Lass Boy George, out of Bockenden Nightcap, born 21st of the 10th, 87. Evangel Cross Patch. 103. Ma Bryan Dark Silhouette, owned and bred by Mr. B.W. Hall, sired by Champion Tygarth Famous Grouse, out of Dallin Songbird of Ma Bryan, born 7th of the 8th, 86. Ma Bryan Dark Silhouette. 154. Beloran Louisa Chick, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. W.A. Law, sired by Beloran Oliver Tompkins, out of Jessica Jedler of Beloran, born 6th of the 7th, 87. Beloran Louisa Chick. 170. Walk On Pleasantly Pickled, owned and bred by Mrs. Yvonne Miller, sired by Champion Genroy Pop My Cork to Walk On, out of Champion Slightly Sloshed of Sunhawk at Walk On, born 7th of the 12th, 88. Walk On Pleasantly Pickled. 250. Dizzy Lizzie of Santon Oaks at Brewlis, owned by Mr. David Thorpe, bred by Mr. and Mrs. A. McCormick, side by Champion Santon Oaks Robbie Redcoat, out of Ragapapa Thomas, born 12th of the 5th, 88. Dizzy Lizzie of Santon Oaks at Brewlis. 78. Flaming Star at Deandrew, owned by Mrs. D. Finn, bred by S. Russell, side by Ferdon Front Page Story at Dysalon, out of Brindle Spring, born 16th of the 9th, 88. Flaming Star at Deandrew. 52. Summer Star, owned by Mrs. E. Costello, bred by Mrs. A. Stevenson, side by Bohan Brass Band, out of Sicilian Starship, born 9th of the 6th, 88. Summer Star. Number 8. Remu Gypsy Princess, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. J.V. Bennett, side by Spelly Surpriser, out of White Barton Summer Song, born 3rd of the 3rd, 88. Remu Gypsy Princess.
8.
Remu Gypsy Princess. 9. Silvax Pink Bubbly, owned and bred by Mrs. S.J. Betteridge, side by Champion Rupik Bellringer of Seafound, out of Silvax Rasan, born 19th of the 1st, 89. Silvax Pink Bubbly. Silvax Pink Bubbly. 157. Bitzer Half a Sixpence, owned by Mr. and Mrs. K.L. and E.A. Ledger, bred by Mr. and Mrs. Andrew and Pat Barney, side by Champion Fair Dawn Pheasant Plucker, out of Hot Hooch of Tygarth. Bitzer Half a Sixpence. 118. Gerry Off Heather's Pride of Glasswind, owned by Mrs. H.J. Harvey, bred by M. Gerry and A. Taylor, side by Gerry Off Boxer Tricks, out of Aurorian Lucky Trip, born 11th of the 7th, 88. Gerry Off Heather's Pride of Glasswind.
Abby's throat. Abby's throat.
That's your good girl.
274. Winnerwork Heaven Forbid, owned by Ira Murray Ward Davis, Julie Brown and Tim Hutchins, bred by Ira Murray Ward Davis and Vanessa Rogers, side by Champion Tygarth Demorangi of Genroy, out of Good Heavens of Winnerwork, born 25th of the 8th, 88. Winnerwork Heaven Forbid. 163. Disco Dancer of Dodgers, owned by Mr. and Mrs. McKelvey, bred by Mrs. Hart, side by Champion Garnett Gillert of Stainmere, out of Norwich Sunhawk Laura, born 24th of the 7th, 88. Disco Dancer of Dodgers.
To show it on
303 Harmore Totters Trade, owned and bred by Mrs. Maureen Ragg, signed by champion General Potlight Court to walk on, out of champion Tinker's Trade of Harmore, born 14th of the 8th, 88. Harmore Totters Trade. 132 Just a Flutter at Bockenden, owned by Mrs. Peggy Ingram, bred by Mr. and Mrs. Garrett, signed by Bockenden Double or Quits, out of Sheena of Exhall, born 7th of the 3rd, 88. Just a Flutter at Bockenden. Just a Flutter at Bockenden. 245 Stupid Cupid of Tranarka, owned by Mr. Stan Thompson, bred by Pam Allen, signed by Tygarth the Wiz of Tranarka, out of the Rose of Tranarka, born 26th of the 5th, 88. Stupid Cupid of Tranarka. 197 Springbeck Sapphire of Cherrygate, owned by Mr. and Mrs. T. Peak, bred by Mr. and Mrs. Sutton, signed by Springbeck Southpaw, out of Springbeck Silhouette. No date of birth given. Springbeck Sapphire of Cherrygate. First, Walk On Pleasantly Pickled. Second, Harmore Totters Trade. Third, Dislizzy of Santon Oaks at Brulers. Reserved Chaffordian Crystal Song at Tupul. The 8C Summer Star. The 8C Winniwuk Heaven Forbid. Summer Star, Chaffordian Crystal Song at Tupul, Dizzy Lizzy of Santon Oaks at Brulers, Harmore Totters Trade, and Walk On Pleasantly Pickled was first postgraduate bitch. Class 17 limit bitch, 16 entered, 4 absent. We've seen Manic Wounded, Grandways Raffinella, Willrate Western Delight, Baloran Cherry Pecksniff, New Lathe Marietta, Bournewell Bee's Knees, Snow Dancer of Valdemosa, Miss Colour Girl of Zeredith, Fair Dawn with Love to Shiloh, Wild Axe Dinagar v Slagheg, Comedy of Errors from Skelder, and Bockenden Gabor. First one to be seen in Class 17 Limit Bitch is 48 Manic Wounded, owned and bred by Mrs. Julie Cook, signed by Glenfall Golden Blend, out of Fair Dawn Just Good Friends, born 4th of the 11th, 87. Manic Wounded. 96 Grandways Raffinella, owned and bred by Mrs. Carol Green, signed by Champion Fair Dawn Pheasant Plucker, out of Grandways Manhattan Mist, born 16th of the 5th, 88. Grandways Raffinella. 296 Willrate Western Delight, owned by Rita Williams and Anne Meredith, bred by Rita Williams, signed by Abgar V. Bemerek of Marvelton, out of Champion Willrate Tishkanesk, born 15th of the 8th, 87. Willrate Western Delight. 155 Baloran Cherry Pecksniff, owned and bred by Mr. and Mrs. Bill Law, signed by Champion Baloran Mr. Similarity, out of Tygarth Harbour Lights. No date of birth given. Baloran Cherry Pecksniff. 7 New Lathe Marietta, owned and bred by Mrs. Chris Beardsall, signed by Lynn Pine Cannon, out of Holly of New Lathe, born 12th of the 2nd, 88. New Lathe Marietta.
Well, you might have got one to go back to.
266. Bournewell's Bee's Knees, owned and bred by Mrs. Pam Tuke, side by Jess. Champion Sheffordian John Joe out of Bournewell Black Beauty. Born 29th of the 4th, 86. Bournewell Bee's Knees. 22. Snow Dancer of Valdemosa, owned by Mrs. V. Capes, bred by Mr. and Mrs. C. Walker, side by Lynpine Tyson out of Lynpine, Charmaine, born 6th of the 11th, 88. Snow Dancer of Valdemosa. 165. Miss Colour Girl of the Zeredith, owned and bred by Mrs. M. Meredith, side by Charnville Good News of Zeredith out of Wild Axe Gilt Edge, born 25th of the 8th, 86. Miss Colour Girl of Zeredith.
No.
158. Fair Dawn with Love to Shiloh, owned by Stuart Lockwood Brown and Tony Curtin, bred by Sue Harvey and shown by Linda Carnaby, side by Champion Norwatch Sunhawk Raffles out of Fair Dawn Birds and Bees, born 28th of the 10th, 87. Fair Dawn with Love to Shiloh. 293. Wild Axe Dinnicker v Slughegg, owned and bred by Margaret and Frank Wildman, side by Dutch and International Champion Banderello out of Dinnicker VD Yamahove, born 17th of the 4th, 88. Wild Axe Dinnicker v Slughegg.
Wait.
140. Comedy of Errors from Skelda, owned by Mrs. Claire Kay, bred by Messrs. Gray and Doop, side by Cherrygate Gatsby of Greylag out of Skelda Red Alert, born 19th of the 7th, 88. Comedy of Errors from Skelda. 133. Bockenden Cabal, owned and bred by Mrs. Peggy Ingram, side by International Champion Tabor v Vockerben at Lynpine out of Tubworth of the Crest of Bockenden, born 10th of the 8th, 88. Bockenden Cabal.
Yes, lovely.
First, Comedy of Errors from Skelda. Second, Wild Axe Dinnicker v Slughegg. Third, Manic Wounded. Reserve, New Lathe Marietta. VHC Fair Dawn with Love to Shiloh. And HC Grandways Raffinella. Fair Dawn with Love to Shiloh. New Lathe Marietta. Manic Wounded. Wild Axe Dinnicker v Slughegg. And once again, first Limit Bitch was Comedy of Errors from Skelda. Class 18 Open Bitch. Champion Bucksteps Honeymoon, Champion Lilo Lil Marbleton, Champion Crackers at Warcon, Champion Fair Dawn Whatever Next at Sules, Fair Dawn Neb Knobs and Knockers, and Champion Susan Carr Loose Elastic. First one to be seen in the Class 18 Open Bench is 292. Champion Bucksteps Honeymoon, owned and bred by Mrs. Jenny Whittaker, side by Champion Rycroft the Jazz Singer out of Bucksteps the Bridesmaid, born 12th of the 7th, 88. Champion Bucksteps Honeymoon. 112. Champion Lilo Lil of Marbleton, owned by Mrs. Mary Hamilton, bred by Meredith, side by Dolph the Bew Farm of Marbleton out of Weimar Drunken and Capable, born 13th of the 9th, 87. Champion Lilo Lil of Marbleton. Champion Lilo Lil of Marbleton.
1
Champion Crackers at Walk-On, owned by Mrs. Yvonne Miller, bred by Mrs. E. Woods, side by Champion General Pot My Cork to Walk-On, out of Ginger Lady of Marbleton, born 30th of the 9th, 87. Champion Crackers at Walk-On. '73, Champion Fair Dawn Whatever Next at Soulez, owned by Mrs. Sue Drinkwater, bred by Sue Harvey, side by Champion Rayforce Cock Robin, out of Sheffordian It's Magic at Fair Dawn, born 19th of the 2nd, 88. Champion Fair Dawn Whatever Next at Soulez. Champion Fair Dawn Whatever Next at Soulez. 119, Fair Dawn Knobs and Knockers, owned by Miss Sue Harvey and bred by her also, handled by Philip Greenway, side by Champion Tygarth Famous Grouse, out of Fair Dawn Truly Glorious, born 11th of the 12th, 86. Fair Dawn Knobs and Knockers. Fair Dawn Knobs and Knockers. 29, Champion Susan Carr Lucy Lastic, owned by Mesdames S&S Carter, bred by them also, side by Dolph the Bew Farmer Marbleton, out of Shy Torg at Suzanne Carr. Champion Suzanne Carr Lucy Lastic, born 1st of the 10th, 84.
I've been hanging out here for 20 minutes waiting for the class.
And you were taking a look at it Layla the other week. Yes, only putting on Bromwich Crew.
Champion Bucksteps Honeymoon, Champion Lilo Lil of Marbleton, Champion Crackers at Walk-On, Champion Fair Dawn Whatever Next at Soulez, Fair Dawn Knobs and Knockers, Champion Suzanne Carr Lucy Lastic. First Fair Dawn Knobs and Knockers, second Champion Susan Carr Lucy Lastic, third Champion Crackers at Walk-On, reserve Champion Fair Dawn Whatever Next at Soulez, VHC Champion Lilo Lil of Marbleton, and HC Champion Bucksteps Honeymoon. Champion Lilo Lil of Marbleton, Champion Fair Dawn Whatever Next at Soulez, Champion Crackers at Walk-On, Champion Suzanne Carr Lucy Lastic, and once again first open bitch was Fair Dawn Knobs and Knockers. Unbeaten bitches, Wild Turkey of Tygarth, Susan Carr Harmonica, Gwyn Howley Genevieve, Champion Santon Oaks Kiwi Magic, Visage Scarlet Ribbons, Emanzi Paper Chase, Walk On Pleasantly Pickled, Comedy of Errors from Skelder, and Fair Dawn Knobs and Knockers. Fair Dawn Knobs and Knockers winner of Open Pitch, Comedy of Errors from Skelder winner Limit Pitch, Walk On Pleasantly Pickled winner Postgraduate Pitch, Amanzi Paper Chase winner of Undergraduate Pitch, Visage Scarlet Ribbons winner of Novice Pitch, Champion Santon Oaks Kiwi Magic winner of Junior Pitch, Gwyn Howley Genevieve winner of Puppy Pitch and goes on to win Best Puppy and Show, Suzanne Carr Harmonica winner of Minor Puppy Pitch, and Wild Turkey of Tygarth winner of Veteran Bitch. Comedy House from Skelder, Amanzi Paper Chase, Champion Santon Oaks Kiwi Magic, Amanzi Paper Chase, Comedy Hours from Skelder, and Fair Dawn Knobs and Knockers. Fair Dawn Knobs and Knockers winner of Open Bitch, Comedy of Errors from Skelder winner of Limit Pitch, Amanzi Paper Chase winner of Undergraduate Pitch, and Champion Santon Oaks Kiwi Magic winner of Junior Pitch, the last four for the ticket. Fair Dawn Knobs and Knockers, Comedy Errors from Skelder, Amanzi Paper Chase, and Champion Santon Oaks Kiwi Magic. Bitch ticket goes to Fairdawn Knobs and Knockers, winner of Open Bitch. Challenge for the Reserve CC, champion Susan Carr, Lucy Lastic, second from Open Bitch is brought in to challenge. Champion Susan Carr, Lucy Lastic. The comedy bearers from Skelder, Amanzi Paper Chase, and champion Santa Oaks Kiwi Magic. Challenging for the Reserve Bitch CC. Reserve Bitch CC goes to Comedy of Errors from Skelder, winner Leonard Bitch and Bitch Reserve Challenge Certificate. Comedy Errors from Skelder, Reserve CC, and Fairdawn Knobs and Knockers, winner of Open Bitch and Bitch CC. Fairdawn Knobs and Knockers. And now Jim Bren Royal Scott, Dog CC. This is for best of breed. Fairdawn Knobs and Knockers, Bitch CC, and Jim Bren Royal Scott, Dog CC.
Oh my god, I didn't even know.
Fairdawn Knobs and Knockers, Bitch CC being looked at Joy Malcolm, and Jim Bren Royal Scott, Dog CC being looked at by Sid Riley. For best of breed. Fairdawn Knobs and Knockers, Bitch CC winner. Jim Bren Royal Scott, Dog CC winner. Judges being unable to decide, the referee Joey Royal is called in to officiate.
I think she gets all agitated, so he gets all agitated. Yes. Because you do convey it generally, there's no two ways.
Philip can see is so
calm, yeah.
Fairdawn Knobs and Knockers, and Jim Bren Royal Scott. Jim Bren Royal Scott. Jim Bren Royal Scott, winner Dog CC, gets the best of breed and the Joe Royal.